Hello, fellow conspiracy theorists across time and space. This is Joseph Armstrong, and I've got a topic today that I don't want to really have to talk about. And I'll assume that most of the people watching this are familiar with the concept of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, where Dr. Jekyll invents a formula that brings out the worst of humanity when you drink it. Sounds very much like alcohol or some other type of drug. And you wouldn't know the difference. I mean, you wouldn't know that the person was the same when they've taken this serum. So this is my first video with a new lens, and I'm still trying to figure out where the best spot is for it so I don't cut off part of my head. There's two quotes that I want to start out with. In the future, I will find these quotes and put them in the video, but for now, Fritz Springmeier once said in an interview that I listened to in my commute, he said that the Illuminati, the people that control everything behind the scenes, which is, largely a satanic organization, has infiltrated Christianity at every level, is what Mr. Springmeier said. At every level. So, and he also said that they have someone in almost all churches. Do I know this as a fact? No, but I don't know if he's a doctor. Mr. Springmeier has said that, and he has done a tremendous amount of research into the subject. Brian Denlinger, whom I used to watch a lot on YouTube, he's a King James Bible believer like myself. So Brian Denlinger has said that the Jesuits, which are basically the Illuminati type of branch of the Roman Catholic Church, that they have infiltrated Christianity at every level except for King James onlyism. So King James Bible believers have never been infiltrated by the Jesuits because they are true Christianity or something, which is interesting because the Bible talks about grievous wolves coming in among you. So I'm not sure how, if King James onlyism is Christianity that has not been infiltrated, because you would think that if King James onlyism is real Christianity, it would follow a biblical pattern. So I'm not sure. The implications of that statement in my mind are, oh, King James onlyism is so worthless that they don't bother with us. Either that, or we're supposed to be so pure that you don't have to worry about any deception if you're talking to a King James onlyist. Now to the subject. How has Kent impacted my life? I've built pretty much my entire ministry, both of my ministries actually, repentyepeople.com and the Bible Version Conspiracy, around what I've learned from Dr. Ken Hovind and my further research later on as I've grown older and stuff and learned things. And so I learned about King James onlyism, that there are verses that are in the King James Bible that are not in modern versions, and of course that's, like, just on the surface, that's the attention grabber. Kent Hovind is actually kind of the spark behind this channel. Also, Repent Ye People, my very first page was his seminar series, part 3, Dinosaurs in the Bible. That's repentyepeople.com/stillalive, if you guys want to check that out. I've watched so many Ken Hovind videos, so many of them, as many as I could actually. His entire CSE 101, 102, 201. I'm not sure if there was a 103, I forget. Watched those in college. And in one of my classes where we had to write a paper and present it on the different people that have influenced us the greatest. I remember only picking two. The first one was Dr. Hovind, and the second was Dennis McBride from Pensacola Christian College. For those of you that know Mr. McBride, it's hard not to love his classes. Am I bitter against Dr. Hovind? I am not. I have actively defended him in many cases. I'm making this video because there is a possibility that for safety, creation science evangelism and dinosaur adventureland should be avoided. I want the just to be justified, and I want the accused to be condemned. Okay? That is what I want. To be clear. I'm not trying to bash anybody. Not trying to be rude. Not trying to get attention. What have I noticed about Kent? Well, we actually saw him at Port Crane, New York. He was very artificial. And I don't think the time that I was there that I saw that he had a genuine interaction with anybody. Everything was, everything was cookie cutter, everything was repeat. I justified that because it kind of made sense if he was talking to hundreds of people and not really able to debate each of them, and also not wanting to, and half of those people wanting to chop his head off. It was so fake. There was a young man there, very, very, very intelligent for his age, trying to ask him serious questions, repeatedly trying to ask him serious questions, but Dr. Hovind kept responding with jokes and something about worms' feet or something. And I wasn't very impressed with that, and he was doing the same thing talking to the young person that took him up to his cabin. If I was to throw a date, or not a date, an age on the young man that took him up, I'd say probably 15, maybe 16, something like that. I also was not impressed with his debate with Inspiring Philosophy. I remember watching that. He didn't seem prepared at all for what he faced with Michael Jones. He apparently has 200 verses that are like removed from the Bible. I'm not sure how that works out, because in his seminar, when he gets to the Bible version issue, he shows probably 1, 2, 3 different verses that are gone, Acts 8:37, 1 John 5:7, ones like that. After he shows those verses that are gone, he says it's like that in over 200 verses. And I'm like, no, it's not, because there are not 200 verses missing from any modern version. There's, changes, and there's different places where phrases or maybe a word is missing or something like that. And that might go to 200, but I think it's a misrepresentation the way he presents it. He says it's like that in 200 verses. And I'm like, there's no 200 verses missing from any Bible or version or anything. And 200 is a very nice number, because it's not 100, which sounds like, exaggerism and an exaggeration or hyperbole or something like that. It's 200 is not beyond belief. It's within something you can understand, and it sounds like a lot. He apparently has 200 recordings of one of his former wives proving that she is bipolar. The first time that I seriously started considering Dr. Hovind in a negative light was actually on my lunch break. Took out my phone, was going to watch a video while I ate lunch, and I saw an ad, a suggestion on YouTube that was about avoiding Dinosaur Adventureland and Kent Hovind, and I was like, what is this? And it was over an hour long, and I was like, well, that's fine, as I watch a lot of long videos, and I was like, it's by Inspiring Philosophy. So I was like, if Dr. Hovind is to be avoided, I want to know about it, because that is the last thing that I am actually doing at this point. So if he should be avoided, that could be pretty important. And then I was like, if I watch this, it should be pretty obvious if somebody is trying to deceive me, or if this is like poorly researched or whatever else. And it said that the part of the title was that his 2 ex-wives were telling all. And I was like, Okay, it'd be good to hear a different perspective from what Dr. Hovind has said, and I'll link to that video so you guys can check that out. Something I wasn't expecting what I listened to. Mary Toko, who was, I believe, his second wife, she gave a very interesting story. How one day she brought up a lot of the safety issues there at Dinosaur Adventureland and mismanagement and stuff like this. And I strongly encourage you to at least listen to the first half hour of the interview. It's long, maybe even the first 20 minutes, just to see what I've seen. Apparently, Mary criticized some things, and they received a death threat. Whoever it was a sicko. Whoever it was that wrote it. And you notice I'm not looking at the camera a lot because it's a hard subject for me. And later on, Dr. Hovind announced that whoever it was had been caught in the last 3 hours when Mary had been with him the entire time. Everybody was like, oh, praise the Lord, God saved us, kind of stuff. And Mary said that she knew that Kent was lying, that there was no phone call. She said that that was the third major lie that she had caught him in. First major lie, or third major lie. I would love to know what the other two were. She asked Kent later on, she was like, who told you, who called you and told you this? And he said, oh, I don't know. I get so many phone calls. And she's like, you forgot in 3 hours. And you received this phone call when? Because she had been with him the entire 3 hours. And my suspicion based on that story was that either somebody involved with Kent Hovind or he himself may have sent that email. I highly doubt that it was him because he was with her the entire time. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But that would make me worried. Highly recommend you guys listen to that. Give me your thoughts down in the comments. Let me know what you think. And remember that this channel is where we talk about the conspiracy that is behind modern translations. And this video is actually kind of proposing the idea that there is a conspiracy within. If these accusations are true, there's only 3 possibilities that I see. The first one is that he's being set up. That is actually a far out possibility, after what I've heard. He could also be being blackmailed. I do not know if he's being blackmailed. He may be involved in different things that, or may have done different things that they are holding over his head. Apparently Billy Graham had a similar situation. It's a possibility, and there also may be a conspiracy. I don't know this, it's just a theory. He may have been replaced by a copy of himself. I don't know, and I don't want to paint a big target on my back. It's just an idea I'm throwing out there, because, you know, this is a conspiracy channel, and it's my channel, so I can throw out whatever I want, I guess. It may be a central point where different churches associated with Hyles-Anderson College may be picking up drugs in children for inappropriate reasons, let's say. There's a lot of Christians that go in and out of there, go back to churches. There's a lot of kids. He also may just be incredibly trusting of people that claim to be falsely accused because he believes he was falsely accused himself. What do I want to happen from this video? I want a face-to-face trial where, and this doesn't have to happen in, you know, courts or whatever else like this. It would be good because then you would know that there would be some kind of, you know, officialness to it. When Christians do this kind of thing, sometimes it's just kind of really loose and lax. I would love for the accuser to have the accused face-to-face, cross-examination to occur, and for the guilty party to be exposed. Whether he's being falsely accused or whether he is involved in a cover-up, there is something going on. There has to be something going on. A face-to-face trial, may the truth win the day, and the deceivers and manipulators be defeated. Somebody is manipulating somebody else. Somebody is deceiving us. It's either his ex-wives and the court system that has condemned him in domestic abuse, physical domestic abuse, and sending his third wife to the hospital. There's also in my mind, because I haven't heard enough evidence for it, that he beat up, I believe, a 13-year-old at Dinosaur Adventureland because he was extremely mad. Also that he, without parents' permission, and I've just heard this, if you guys know information about this, I want to know about it because I want to know whether this is true or false. There was also a man that accused him of having his 6-year-old daughter be involved in a full-body massage for Dr. Hovind without the parents' knowledge. And if that is true, I am sorry to be so blunt, but if that is true, I want to see Dr. Hovind and his ministry destroyed, because that is sick, and he should not be involved in children's ministry. Like I said, I don't know if these things are true. Leave your stuff down in the comments. I want to hear all of it. I want to know what's going on. If his 2 ex-wives received threats for questioning how he was kind of around the back of the barn avoiding taxes and safety hazards at the park, who knows what's going to be a result of this video. I will absolutely guarantee you that I'm not suicidal. Absolutely guarantee it. I gotta go to work, so I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.